All right, welcome back to the Dorsey Healthy Living Show. It has been a while since I recorded one of these episodes, but I'm glad to be back. Today is January 23rd, 2021, so it's definitely been a minute, but happy we're back. Happy we're back. I'm not sure when this is going to be posted, but for those listening and or watching, I greatly appreciate it. My name is Jeremy. Owner of Dorsey Healthy Living, now LLC. Filed my LLC finally and got that taken care of. So I'm officially a business owner as I begin to kind of kick things off. Quick thing, if you guys could just leave me a review if you're listening or like the video if you're watching, that would be great. It does wonders for me and kind of spreading this message out, this medium out to other people. So I would greatly appreciate if you could do that. I would love it. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce somebody who means a lot to me. Everybody means a lot to me, but this guy especially, he was one of our really close friends in college. We're still close today, and really kind of helped me specifically on the workout side. So I'm gonna let him kind of talk about himself. But this is William Mitchell. So William, who are you?
I appreciate that, Jeremy. Yeah, so I'm a South Bend kid, as you can tell with my Notre Dame on. I still repping it proud. I see you are too, which makes me smile. And South Bend kid that grew up in the Midwest and stayed there throughout college and so forth. And that's really how you and I met. But yeah, I've got a lovely wife named Courtney and the son. And after college, I continue to stay with the university, and now I'm the director of the Rockney Athletics Fund, which raises money for our student athletes, who I'm extremely passionate about. So I never left the place because I love it. I love our mission. I love what we do. So, but yeah, that's that place special to me for a lot of reasons. But one reason is because I met you there, and we had a lot of early mornings together and getting it in, and which was fun, and a lot of great friendships that were built for both of us at this place called the Rockney Memorial on campus.
Yeah, for sure. You said you're the director of operations for the Rockney Athletic Fund?
So basically, I oversee everything that what's the best way to put it? So all the money that comes in on an annual basis for athletics, I kind of oversee that. So we have the Rockney Athletics Fund has many different levels to it, depending on how much you decide to give. And with those levels comes experiences, but that money is directly used to help fund student athlete scholarships or certain things within athletics, such as ensuring that the student athletes have proper workout equipment or nutrition or so forth. So anything that kind of falls under that purview, we help provide funds for through friends and family, alumni, monogram winners, and so forth who decide to give back. So it's a great role because I get to spend time with a lot of student athletes, which I think are really, really special individuals because, Jeremy, you know this, just you have to be wired a little bit differently to say, okay, I'm going to come to Notre Dame. I want to compete for championships, but then I got to sit in a classroom full of valedictorians. People like you who are really, 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 really smart and like you, and not that the student athletes aren't, because they are too, but just the competitive environment that is the classroom at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So it's not like that everywhere. You know what I mean? There's not a ton of, gimme majors and so forth at Notre Dame. Right. So you got to grind it out on both ends. And so to say at 17, 18 years old, I'm gonna sign up for that, and I'm gonna move to the Midwest and have these 15-degree winter days.
Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, cold, especially if you're from Florida or something. It's just you got to be built a little bit different. And I like helping those type of individuals out because they're willing to push themselves to a limit. Make themselves uncomfortable to be better.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I experienced that firsthand. I wasn't a student athlete, but just being a student there. I mean,
right.
First of all, you walk around and you see everybody looks like an athlete, first of all, at Notre Dame. I don't know where these people came from, but student or NARP, as we call them, a non-athletic regular person or an athlete, everybody looks like an athlete up there.
So it's a funny point because I was just reading the other day that Notre Dame is top like 4 top 5 healthiest campuses like in America
Yeah, I believe
because of which is pretty true. Like for the most part, people do feel fit, or you feel like when the days are nice, people are out in the quads playing and stuff. You know how
yeah.
that goes. So it's a pretty fit campus, and if you hit the rock at the wrong time, you weren't getting the
Oh,
machine because that place was packed.
heck
So,
no.
which is one of the reasons why we would go so early.
Yeah, yeah. And for those who don't know, The Rock is, obviously, if you didn't go to Notre Dame, you have no idea what
Yeah.
that is. But The Rock is one of 2 gyms on campus. Definitely the better gym. The other one's
Yes.
more like a fitness center. This one is more like a gym. Steel plates, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cracked.
Smells funny.
Yeah,
It's
cracked
old.
mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yep.
basketball courts were weird. But it's a
Yeah.
good place. It was a good place to work out. That's where I started working out. Really getting into like my physical fitness journey was there. And I was definitely one of those people, freshman, sophomore years, when I would kind of dabble in fitness before I really got into it. Going at 3:30, 4:00 when I got out of class, and then you end up standing around more than you're actually working out just because there's
Exactly. Yep.
machines. So, and Kevin Horner, for those who've been watching and listening, will know Kevin. I had him on an earlier show, but he was one who actually encouraged me to kind of go in the morning, and that's where I met William. So, no, that's really good stuff.
I'll never forget the first conversation we had and how you came up to me. Like I see it happening now. I'll never forget.
I just asked him for a workout program. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, you just like, hey man, like I see you doing this stuff, and I'm like, I think I just said, yeah, I gave you some stuff. I remember emailing you, and then you just started showing up in the morning, and before you know it, for a couple of years, we were just getting after it. So
Yep. So it was good stuff. I mean, it was definitely good stuff. I've always appreciated it. I always go back to that. Yo, you coming in the morning? Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna work out. So it was always good stuff.
Yeah.
Always
Yep.
good stuff. Watching out for form and stuff. So,
Yeah.
no, that's good stuff, man. And then you said obviously your wife Courtney, but you got a baby, right?
Yeah. So recently, about 8 months ago, we had our first little one. It's William the Fifth. I'm the fourth, which is obviously a pretty special moment for myself and my family. And it's been fun. It's been challenging at times, but to see him show more personality each day is fun. And it feels like he's all boy. Like what I mean. He has those kind of characteristics that are like, okay, this kid, I may get a little bit of karma heading my way. And deep down, I love him for whoever he is or however he turns out. But I hope he's kind of meathead like myself and likes to get to the gym and cares about the food that he puts in his body and all those stuff that you and I have talked about countless times. So, but yeah, it's been fun. Like I said, been challenging at times. Throwing off that sleep pattern, but that's just being a parent. Everyone who's a parent has to go through that. So I'm just kind of earning my stripes there.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
I haven't actually met Lil Will yet. That's what I call him, Lil Will. He doesn't know it yet, but
He will. You will.
Uncle Jeremy's coming to South Bend to
Uncle-
see you, Lil Will. Whenever you watch this episode, years in the future, I remember.
Hopefully, we have a football season where you and the fam could come up. So
yeah, for sure, that would be nice. Although Notre Dame just got put on probation, so
it's nothing though. You know what it is? Is Brian Kelly took a picture of a kid in a cafeteria. It's one of the recruits. I mean, it's so silly, but yeah. Anyways, it will be good.
That's tough, but whatever. So
whatever.
Well, cool. Nice to meet you, man. Well, I guess I already know you. Nice for everybody else to meet you.
Yeah.
And actually, there was something interesting you said there. Hoping Lil will care about the food he puts, in his body, and so that kind of leads into our first fun question as we move into the next segment. But first question is, what food will you absolutely not, under any circumstances, eat, and why?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like I thought about that, and so a little bit of backstory. My parents had these small convenience stores, and there's these little bag candies that are like 99 cents, right? So think of like generic brand of like Sour Patches or so forth. And the other day I was walking by and I looked at the ingredients, and I literally think the entire thing was chemicals. I could not pronounce one word. It was like, it felt like 100 grams of sugar. There's nothing protein. It was literally all fake in there. And I know that sounds like a crazy thing, like that you would never eat, but like it would be tough to convince me to put that in my body. Like I'm pretty open in terms of trying certain things. I'm not overly picky, but probably some of this, like that like any type of junk candy or something. Like I don't know. just thinking about it doesn't sit well with my stomach or anything. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of weird foods out there. Like people are like, oh, I'll never eat cow tongue or something. I was like, there's actually some good stuff in it that's good for you. Now I know with you being going on your vegan kicks and stuff like that,
Plant-based.
I'm quite
Plant-based.
plant-based. That's right. I'm quite the opposite. I am a red meat guy through and through, but to each their own. So I certainly support that. But yeah, probably just something like that. I'm willing to try a lot of different things, and it's not like there's some things I, have my funny, might have my cheat days here and there. But yeah, that candy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but it's 99 cents for a big bag. So if it's that cheap, it can't be good.
Fair.
That's just my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, William's definitely one of the most nutritionally packed eaters I've ever met in my life. I used to think it was crazy. Now I get it because I'm one of those people too. But it's one of those things like you don't, unless somebody tells you, you're like, do your own research. You never really know like food like affects us on a day-to-day basis as well. Not only from like an energy perspective, but like long term. So
absolutely,
the things that we put in our body definitely matters. The nutritionally packed things. So mine. And I don't eat meat anymore, obviously, but even before I stopped eating meat, mine was chitlins, pig intestine. Heck no. Never in my life could you ever convince me to eat some of those. They smell horrible. My family loves them. Not like my mom, my brother or anything, but my extended family. Some people in my extended family loves them. They would make them on holidays, stinking up the whole house. No, I'm out on those. Can't do it. I can't do it. So
it doesn't sound great, too appetizing. I can't say I've had pig intestines. I would try it, but it doesn't sound something that's very appetizing.
Nah, it's like ramen noodles, but like not. And
that doesn't. You're not giving it a good light for me.
Exactly. I'm out on that. I'm out on pig intestines. It just doesn't sound that good to me, and they smell horrible. I feel like the crux to eating good food is that it also smells delicious. So
it's like just the name of the pig intestines. You just saying it sounds nasty.
Exactly. So I'm out on that one. But sweet. All right. Question number 2. This kind of has nothing to do with eating or fitness or anything. But who would win in a fight between Spider-Man and Batman, and why?
Yeah, I had to do some research on this. Because I don't know anything about action figures. Like I know nothing about this stuff. Like you're touching into a world that's completely like, if you would have told me to like pick a superhero, I'd say Super Mario or something like that because I'm Italian. You know what I mean? I like, or Luigi or something. I pick one of my people. So so after doing some extensive research, I'm gonna go Spider-Man.
All right, good
answer.
And
I thought like when I first read the question, I thought, okay, Batman, because he's like this, strong guy, feels like, someone that you could roll with, but they're both good guys, I think, for the most part, right? And Batman does have Robin, so you think maybe, 2-on-1, but Spider-Man he has all those extra attributes that I was reading about that I'm like, I think I'm going to roll with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can go wrong with either, but Spider-Man, there's one guy on Reddit who broke it down like in like these crazy percentages and stuff. And I got like in the weeds last night reading it down. He wrote like 2 pages and I was like completely into it because I wanted to give a good answer. And then I was like, okay, I think the right answer is Spider-Man after reading this. So if I'm wrong, then Reddit led me to the wrong answer, but it's Reddit, so what do you expect? So.
Right. No, I mean, that's fair. I think Spider-Man will also win. I think Batman is trash, personally, but
Do you?
He doesn't have any powers.
I know, he's just like a strong dude, right?
And when I compare like Iron Man and Iron Man, I don't want to say he's like a new age Batman, but like from the perspective of what he does, he kind of is. But Iron Man is still so much stronger than like the Batman of that time, in my opinion. And so like Iron Man could fly. Batman can't fly. Like for me, that's huge.
He has a cool car, right?
Right. Can you get the Batmobile? If you can get off the ground, that's huge for me. Like, because that means you can escape when you need to. So
I mean, if you can shoot stuff out of your wrist, which I read, I knew that. But then like his boots have special like ways of like sensing things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know about that. But
Spidey sense. Yeah.
It just feels like Batman, like.
Yeah.
I think you're out
Yeah,
You get
I
in
mean, he's
trouble here,
either,
man.
and I attribute it to the same thing to Captain America. And people are gonna slam me for this because I think Captain America is decently garbage too, because he can't do anything but punch people. Granted, he has that shield out of vibranium, so that's a little different. But I mean, Batman has to run everywhere or drive his car, but the car can't get off the ground. So I mean, I can shoot a web straight up and I'm gone, just like that. So yeah, I'm taking Spider-Man too.
I'm
Spider-Man
glad you
probably
agree
is
with
not
me.
as strong, but I think
Right.
I think it's kind of like Floyd Money Mayweather: defense, tire him out,
Mm,
dub. So
it's a good
um,
comparison, man.
I'm on the Spider-Man fence, but it's a good question because like Spider-Man's like not physically super strong either. So it's definitely worth exploring. I forgot you're not even into that stuff. So
No, it's
but
all good.
some
Gave me
research.
gave
That's
me
what's up.
some some time to research on it, and yeah, so Spider-Man all the way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. Well, we'll kind of move into the next one. Uh, we're doing pretty good actually. I like this episode so far.
Good,
It's
man.
also good to talk to you. We haven't talked in
Yeah,
forever,
I know it's been fun.
yeah, no. So we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty, the main event as I call it. And obviously we kind of mentioned earlier in the podcast, William was pretty instrumental. I had a lot of people who are decently instrumental in kind of my molding as a better person, as a man, etc. But as far as it goes with specifically working out, William was pretty important in that process for me. Justin, who you guys also met previously, was pretty important for me getting up and going to the gym. William was pretty instrumental in me actually doing stuff once I got there. Because I had no idea what to do. I was pretty typical, split the days up, back and biceps, chest and triceps, legs, shoulders, really. And I would kind of just do your typical things like curls, which all of that is good. The basics are probably the best. Squats, all that kind of stuff is probably the best to do. Instead of trying to get interesting and with it, you can change different angles and stuff to make it better. But I had no idea how to like really put stuff together for myself. And so like William said, I kind of just walked up to him one day and asked if he could write me something, and he did. So that's kind of how our friendship got started. We started talking about stuff outside of working out too. But let's go back before that, because I remember a conversation we had one day about how you like originally got into, maybe not originally got into working out, but this was like earlier on in your life when you were like working out. I thought it was super cool, and you told me you used to box. So
Yeah,
like tell us about your boxing experience.
yeah. So there's always been an element in my life where athletics was really, really important, and it really started from my father, who was a really, really good athlete, and so he always had me kind of training and doing stuff pretty early. But yeah, so I remember one day my parents got me a heavy bag and a speed bag, and that really started my passion with fighting or boxing. I wouldn't say fighting, but boxing. But um, that started. I had lifted before that. My dad didn't really let me lift too many weights. He was actually a professional bodybuilder for a few years.
Wow.
Um, but so he got me into lifting, but there wasn't much weights before high school. So around eighth freshman year, the heavy bag was something he said I could do, just to help, whether it's probably get a little bit of anger out of myself because I could have been a hothead at times, or just to kind of get some cardiovascular work in,
Yeah.
just working on the heavy bag. And that really built a passion for that for me, and it helped build a lot of discipline. And then later worked with some people within Golden Gloves and so forth. And it was a good part of my high school life in terms of focusing on becoming a good boxer, pretty good, decent boxer. And, also was a rugby guy for many years. But the thing with boxing that was so instrumental for me was, getting up at the 4:30 in the morning, building that discipline, just to get out of bed
Yeah.
and to push yourself, get yourself into a place where you're uncomfortable at first, because as you know, it's still difficult for me at times to get up early in the morning
Absolutely. Me
after
too.
a long day, especially with a newborn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but starting at an early age, getting up and going to a boxing gym or whatever, it helped build a lot of discipline within me. So that sport in particular helped me mature and grow, and probably just like, I think those years between like 14 and 18, where you got a lot of different hormones and emotions and so
Yeah.
forth, like if you can take it out on a heavy bag instead of someone else, that's probably a good thing. So yeah, it was really big for me. It was really, really big for me.
Yeah. Did you compete at all?
Yeah, I did some stuff. It didn't turn into, something where I was like an amateur type boxer, but there was definitely some time, or there's some matches and so forth in the gym, and moved up throughout the Golden Glove type ranks for the state of Indiana. But it never got to a point where it was, something where I sat down and I was like, okay, this is something that I want to do for good, or this is something I'd earn money for. This was more something that kept me on my toes. It kept me disciplined. It kept me in shape, and something I enjoyed to do. And really, it really started to kind of die out more toward junior year of high school, because I was really into rugby at that point,
Right.
and playing. So that was really a big part of my life as well. But yeah, it was good. It was good, and it's taught me to how to take a punch and how to punch. But also, there's something to really being in a ring one-on-one with someone, and knowing you're in there for like self-preservation.
Right.
And there's also a factor of, you can never judge a book by its cover. There's one thing, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
So you can look at someone and say, okay, they're skinny and tall, they're skinny and short, they don't look like they're that strong. That doesn't mean they can't box, because they could box really, really well.
Right.
And I can remember specifically being in the ring with the southpaw type guy who leads with his left, obviously, and just getting my butt kicked.
Yeah.
And you look at this person and you never expect it. So it's a humbling sport. You take some L's, you take a lot of them. And it teaches you never judge a book by its cover, because you never know. You never know. So
yeah, it seems like every time I come across people who box, or you read something online, discipline is probably one of the biggest things that come from it. And I'm still working on my discipline. I'm much better than I used to be, but waking up early is kind of my big thing now, getting things done. What I didn't realize when my friend Kevin had told me to go to the gym in the morning, of what it was going to do for everything else. I didn't, because at the time it was, okay, we're getting up early so that I can work out. That's the only reason I'm waking up early. I'm not really waking up early for anything else. It ended up turning into, I've got some extra time. Let's go ahead and knock 30 minutes of school workout before class, or before I go to the gym, or after I go to come back from the gym, instead of sleeping until 10 minutes before class starts. So really like the touch on like the discipline, because boxing kind of leads to that. And while I've never boxed before, I can only imagine, the humbling and discipline that goes into it. A, waking up early. B, putting your work in, because it's one of those things, if you don't granted, it's like anything, if you don't put the work in, you're definitely going to get your butt kicked, but now you're in the ring one-on-one with somebody else. So that's where the humbling aspect comes in. Whereas if you play a team sport, you may not stick out as much. In boxing, if you lose, you lost. So
yeah, thankfully, this, again, this is lower level. So you got headgear on, you got certain weighted gloves and so forth. So like you're never necessarily in danger at this stage of competing or sparring or whatever. But you still feel it though. You still feel when that glove connects. So you said it really well in terms of just the discipline part. It's the most important part of it, for sure.
And another thing you said was, it kind of died out junior year because you were getting into rugby. Did you play rugby at Notre Dame, or was that just like on the?
So the first, it was mainly through high school, and then going into freshman year, it was that was certainly the plan. Went to play. The program had just been reinstated a year or two. Then got a horrible concussion at one of these start of these practices. I was one of the few people that actually had experience. Actually, there's one other kid on the team who I played with in high school. Anyways, the team is a club sport there. So because it's a club sport, you're really just kind of picking kids out of dorms. So I mean, it's not like a D1 type athlete,
right?
Necessarily. But I had a decent amount of issues with concussions, and you guys can't tell, whoever's watching or listening, but I'm not the biggest guy. I'm probably 5'5" on a good day.
He's smaller than me.
What's that?
He's smaller than me height-wise.
Yeah, which means I'm pretty short. So
wow. I guess that's an insult to you as well. I'm just playing.
No, I mean, look, I am what I am. So, I got beat up pretty bad, and the concussions, I wasn't really able to have the career I had hoped for going into college and with the intent to play, because of the concussion issue. And you can wear scrum caps and so forth. But this particular one was my third one, and it was a pretty bad one. And I wasn't going anywhere again professionally. This was more of a fun hobby thing to do. And the doctor, I remember saying, like, look, man, I don't know what you're doing here, but you should probably just chill out. So
Yeah.
that once that ended is really when I really, really went all in on the lifting thing, because it was a new way for me to compete. It was just a different way of competing.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's actually a good segue kind of into the next, I guess I've been asking a bunch of questions, but the next like main question is just you kind of really helping me get into my lifting journey, my physical fitness journey, et cetera. Cause we used to hit the bike too. So, but kind of, that was pretty important for me. Just like having a plan, being consistent with it. Most people, especially when they're first starting out, it can be intimidating if they don't really know what to do. And also if they don't know anybody there. And, being in the morning was a little bit more comfortable because, really it was me and you every day. And then, people would trickle in and out. But how do you kind of, encourage others when it comes to physical exercise? I know that was pretty huge for me, but I have to imagine that, you've, been decently instrumental for some other people as well.
Yeah. For me, like the first thing is, I think the first thing is you want to come in with a plan. Like for encouragement is like, you want to come into the gym with a plan. I've been a really big believer in that once you say, okay, I want to come into the gym, and in order for you to continue to keep wanting to come to the gym, I think you need a plan. So I think we even talked about that in terms of charting stuff and so forth. But I think to the very core of it, the one way to, encourage people is just like, just talking about the positive effects that come from lifting, both mentally and physically, and the importance of just taking care of yourself and what it can do throughout your life. I feel like my day is incomplete without a workout. I feel like it sets a really strong foundation for me to succeed at other things. And working out and just competition in general, like the athletics that we've just talked about, has helped build certain disciplines within my life that have helped me be a better father, a better husband, a better at work, and so forth. So there are so many good things that can come out of working out, and I truly believe it could turn the mental health issue on upside down if everyone was willing to get to the gym. I feel like less medication. I feel like there's so many things there, and I feel probably should be careful touching into that because I'm not a doctor, but I just feel like there's so many positive effects that come from working out that it could change the world if people were really invested into it. So
yeah, for sure. You see on kind of social media, obviously I'm not a doctor either, but you see a lot of people kind of go for their mental health. So kind of set the tone for the day, or whether they go at the end of the day. You kind of see a lot of people kind of use it as an outlet for their, sanity, basically. I know during the pandemic, I was getting a little stir crazy, just kind of working out in the house. It did what it was supposed to do during the shutdown, but I couldn't wait to get back. I got back and was just like, I felt like I had like a huge like endorphin release because I could finally get back and just like lift a bunch of heavy stuff because I don't have a home gym or anything. So it's definitely going to be in the plans for the future now. Granted, we probably won't ever go through something like this again, but hopefully not. Yeah. So, but awesome. And then kind of the last thing before we, wrap it up is just one thing I wanted to touch on that we talked about earlier, just like your eating. Like that was something that I used to think was insane because you told me, I just like basically meal prepping every day. And that was not something I'd ever heard of. And I was like, how do you just eat the same thing every day? That sounds boring. And now I've gotten to the point where I don't meal prep per se, but I eat the same 6 or 7 combinations of things because I've kind of switched my thinking. I certainly still enjoy my food. I think everybody should enjoy their food, but I've kind of switched my thinking more so that food is what fuels my body now, instead of something to 100% be a delicacy all the time at the expense of my health. So could you just touch on that a little bit? I know, I used to think you were insane for like what you used to.
I think most people do, especially my wife. I think it's probably one of the most challenging things about living a healthy lifestyle, but I think it's much harder than getting to the gym and so forth. Because I see people that get to the gym, but they're not necessarily seeing results because the diet isn't right. I don't know what's a good percentage to put on it. Probably 75, 80%. of those results. You know, abs are made in the kitchen, I always say.
First person who told me that was you.
Yeah. So, you know, that's a big part of it. So, you know, for me, it's challenging at times, but I just want to put the best in my body because it helps me feel better throughout the day. And I want to recover from those workouts. So, there's certain things. And then one thing I always talk about is I think everybody's body is different. So some people be like, you go to a dietitian or so forth, and you know, sometimes they want to put you in these certain windows, so forth. You should eat this, you should eat that, and there's some truth with certain things, but not everybody's body reacts to the same thing.
Right.
And it's the same thing for some workouts too. And, you know, we've talked about this. So when it comes to diet and stuff, I try to focus on things that make me feel good. I try to be conscious of what I put in my body and what it's seasoned with or how it's cooked. And then I just go from there. But I think it would be unfair if I said like every single meal. Now it's primarily most of my meals, but I do still have some good pizza. I'm Italian, so we grew up on pasta, right? So carbs aren't necessarily the best thing for you in large sums. So I still eat that pasta. I don't know how I turn that down from my mom. Like, you know, good pasta. Like that's something I love. So it's tough. And I remember having these conversations with you in terms of when you started to go to your new diet and so forth and challenges, and then how you feel in gym. And I think it's really, you have to be in tune with your body and see how it reacts and you know, do what's best for you, do what you feel is best. But it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard. So,
absolutely. And the last thing I'll say before we wrap it up, he did say carbs are not bad for you, but the caveat is in large sums, everybody. Carbs are not inherently horrible for you, only in large sums.
I think that's a really good point, Jeremy. I think we talk about portion control and so forth, and that's big. I mean, I think I've always said, like, if you look at a meal and you eat it, can you say that in 2 hours you can still eat that same amount, that same portion? I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah.
But like, if you can, then I feel like that portion is somewhat acceptable. If you overeat, then in 2 hours you wouldn't be able to eat that same portion. So I kind of think like that. I usually eat on a 2 to 3 hour basis. And unlike you, I have a lot of meat. So like most of my mornings, I have venison with my eggs.
Yep.
You know, I have a lot of steak, a lot of red meat, a lot of fish. And I can't say I love all of it, but I do eat some of it because I know it's good for me, and I want to make sure that I take care of my body. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on today. This has been great. First, it's been great to catch up with you, but also kind of doing this, and I appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing your perspective. I think, you know, I learned a lot from you, so I think everybody can learn a lot from you, and hopefully they're able to take away a decent amount in this. I mean, I know it's only 30 minutes. I think we're a little over, whatever. I hope people can take something away, because, you know, I don't, this is we're coming up on year 5 for me. And I kind of met you early or fall of 16, really.
Yeah.
I started working out in spring of 16. So, it's been huge for me. So hopefully people will be able to kind of take this perspective away. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man.
Cool, man. I had a good time. Thanks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks for listening or watching, everybody. Appreciate it. If you want to check out more episodes, feel free to check it out on at Dorsey Healthy Living on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Again, if you like this episode, it would be awesome if you could just leave a great review or drop a like. Either one is great. And check out the website too, dorseyhealthyliving.com. Hopefully going to be releasing some stuff soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to release this episode, but hopefully stuff will kind of be launched by then. So check it out, dorseyhealthyliving.com, and then Dorsey Healthy Living on Facebook as well. So William, I'm Jeremy. That's the Dorsey Healthy Living Show, and we'll see you next time.